Hello guys, welcome to Coding Every Day. Today we are going to start Asta Manager project. And what best place to start than the beginning? The problem that we have at the moment is that we don't have anything. So we don't have any UI, we don't have anything. I think the best place to start is the React app. So at least we have something to interact with and we can add the backend later. If you want for your own project, you can start with the backend if you already know that what you are going to need there. But I thought that maybe for you guys it's easier for you to see something in the React app to start with. So let's get started. Um, I have here an empty directory. I just have the repo and I created a branch for this episode. So let's open this folder with Visual Studio Code. Okay, so the very first thing that we will need to do, that I would like to do and I usually always do in my projects, because I know that in the future we will have multiple folders, I will create a workspace. So in order to do that, I just save workspace as, and I go into the same folder in the root folder of Asta Manager, and I call it Asta, just so that now we have a nice workspace that we can start to work in. At the moment the path is just this, but let's create the React app and see how we can add the React app folder. So in order to start with the React app, we'll need to run this command. Alternatively, you can just install globally, create React app and use it without the npx prefix there. npx is just a utility tool that comes with npm that allows you to run uh, executables from packages without necessarily having to install them globally. In our case, we will call this project asta.web.react, and we chose template TypeScript just because I love working with TypeScript. It just makes my life easier. So let's go and do that. I will probably speed up through this just because it might take a while. Okay, so now it's just that we can do npm start. I also use the run keyword, so let's do that. We are in the wrong folder, obviously. Let's fix that. Let's add the folder to the workspace. So right click here, add folder to workspace. Of course, we go to this folder and click add. And now we can remove the root folder from the workspace. So we are left with this nice folder here. And yeah, I think we can run it just to see. Let's close this command line and open this one. So npm run start and see what we've got. Probably because I'm recording, it seems like my PC is a little bit slow. So it opened a tab for me in the browser. Yes, so we have it. It's kind of laggy, so you can see that my PC is struggling at the moment for some reason. Anyway, I think it's a good point for us to create a commit for this, just so that we know this is the everything that we started with. Feature with React. Okay, we won't push it at the, quite yet. So another thing that we probably want to do at the moment, we have this that doesn't do anything for us. So I will remove the logo, so we don't need the logo at all, just remove it entirely. And of course, because we removed it, we need to remove this. We need to remove the app CSS as well. So this is just some CSS for the React app that comes by default, but we will use Bootstrap. We will install it in just a second. I will remove that as well. And that's a test. We need to remove this as well. Actually, we will remove everything from here, but let's keep it for now. And then, do we need this? I feel like this is, we can keep this for now. Okay, so let's stop the app and let's install Bootstrap. And obviously, since we are working in React Bootstrap, it comes in handy. Okay, so now that is installed, in our app we can, in our header, we don't need all this, we don't need this. We add React navbar. I will just copy paste it just so that you don't see me typing it from scratch. And of course we need to add all the imports for all this stuff. And let's run it and see what we've got so far. Waiting. I might speed this waiting times up for you guys. I don't want to annoy you. I just want you to show how you start a project from scratch, build piece by piece until you have everything. So it looks nice, but it's not, because we are missing a key aspect, which is we are missing an import of the React stuff. So sorry, of the Bootstrap. I meant Bootstrap. So if we go into our app file and we import the CSS of Bootstrap, we could use Sass, but I think that will cause some problems at the moment. So I think we will live with this, which is something. We have a navbar and look great. Now, of course, our app is not about the navbar. Our app is about tasks. So let's add a components folder, and in the components folder let's add a new file, task card, and I have a little snippet here to generate some code for me based on the file name. If you want, guys, I can show you how to write these kind of snippets in the basics video. Okay, so each task, let's define what a task is. So type task. So a task must have an ID, which is a number, and must have a title, which is a string. Okay, so then how do we render a task? I think for now we can render it in a card. That's why I called it the component task card. So we have card response from React Bootstrap. And then we have card header and card title, and in the card title we could have something like this. Okay, so in the props we have a task. I forgot this part, which is of type task. And in here we can have the task. And the props. Okay, so task ID. And then we put a dash, and then we have task title. This is great. Okay, now we have a task component that, given a task which has an ID and a title, it will just render it within a card. Super simple. Let's also add some card body, just details with lorem 5 lorem 20. Let's just add some text in there, just so we have something to display. Okay, now in the app here we have the header, and then we have main, and in the main we need a container. Okay, not sure why it is okay, so it's just slow to compile for some reason, probably because I'm recording. Okay, so let's see what we need here. We need for sure a div at the bottom with a button that is add task, and on click what it does is add task, which is a function we haven't defined yet, but we will shortly. So add task is this function here. Now in order to add a task we need to store the task. Let's create a state. And because we defined the task before, let's call it Asta task, just so that we don't confuse it with something that might be, oops, I've broken it. Okay, let's also restart the TS server just so it starts finding this card component. Okay, so it found it, so we can auto import it. Okay, now that we have a list, when we add a new task we have a new ID, and the new ID is the list length for now. We'll see that we will change this later. Okay, the list by default is empty. List length +1. Okay, this means that the first task we create is going to be 1, the second 2, the third 3, etc. Okay, let's create a new task. Type task, Asta task, and in here we will have ID, new ID, and title. Okay, this is just a mockup, just so we have something to work with in the future, so I think it's fine if we cannot edit the title for now. Okay, let's update the list. So set list old and task. Now when we click the add button, for which we need to import the button from Bootstrap, not what I wanted to do. Okay, so we import button from React Bootstrap. Everything should compile, hopefully, and we have a button. Awesome. Now when we click add, nothing happens. This is because we forgot one crucial thing, which is displaying the list of tasks. So we will create another div here. Probably it could be a row. It should be a row. Okay, a row. And then for each task in the list, we return a call and the 3, for example, with a task card in it, where the task is the task. I don't think it imported, right? So we have row and we have call. Okay, so compile successfully. Let's see. So we have this task here, and we can add more and more tasks. This is great, but we see that it's kind of all attached together. So let's try to fix that. And to fix that, we will add a class to the column here. Margin bottom 5, so it's well spaced. Okay. Maybe we should do margin top so that it's not so attached to the... Well, technically we should add some padding to the main. Do P5. So now even when the list is empty, the button is not exactly attached to the PX5, PY, I think it looks a little bit nicer if it's not that much space there. Okay, so now we can add various tasks and we can scroll if there are too many. This is great. I think we will end the first episode here. Of course, in the next episode, I think what we should address is the fact that obviously this is not stored anywhere. So if we refresh the page, we lose track of all the tasks that we created. So stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for sticking with me. Make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any episode. Thank you guys. Bye.